Welcome everyone to today's release keynote presentation of our brand new release, Synera 2403, and now Judicious Juracan. So I hope I pronounced it correctly. As you know, it's very hard to pronounce, to be honest. But yeah, hard to pronounce, but hopefully easy to use. We are really looking forward to your feedback here. As last time, I'm not alone today on stage, so I have some product support. And I'm super thrilled to hand over to Sophie to say hello.
Hi, everyone.
And besides Sophie, we also have Andrew today with us.
Great to be here.
And unfortunately, Christoph is sick, but yeah, we will take his part for sure. And yeah, in this place, Christoph, get well soon, and we hope we have you back tomorrow or the day after latest. Okay. So then let's start with this new release. And it is really mind-blowing to see what the developer have done over the last 3 months. I mean, the last time that we met in this auditorium was in December, and now it's just 3 months ago. We developed over 80 new features, and you were also pretty active with all your bug reports. So we had the honor to fix over 60 bugs here with this new release. And yeah, we are really thrilled to show you all the new capability and functions of this brand new version of Synera. Last time, we talked about the huge topic of enterprises. And today, the main topic for the whole release is enhance your workflows. We really want to give you all the power and the efficiency and utilities you need to build and use even more powerful workflows. And we also sit together and thought about, okay, what should we bring on the big stage from 80 features? And we came down to a selection of 4 features as usual. And the first massive big update is again the topic Synera Run. And I'm super thrilled that Sophie will give us a deep dive here, what's new and what we can expect in this new version. Sophie, the stage is yours.
Thanks a lot, Daniel. Yeah, in the scope of enhancing your workflows, the focus for Synera Run is customization. So with the Judicious Juracan release, you can now manage Synera Run with enhanced flexibility and control for a smooth and easy to use experience. So just a little recap here, what Synera Run is. If you are a Synera user that automated some workflows, you probably recognized already that it would be great if more people can benefit from these automations. So if you have a workflow that is valuable to multiple colleagues of yours, you can deploy it on a server and you can make it available via browser. You define which inputs your colleagues should be able to upload and define, what they should be able to see in the viewer, and then which outputs they can obtain from the workflow. And this way, all your colleagues can use your automation workflows with their own inputs. They don't have to install Synera. They don't have to learn how to work with Synera and how to use it. And also, you are able to protect your own intellectual property that you pour into these automation workflows. So that's for the recap, but let's talk about what's new with this release. And one thing we do is we want to make the life of the server admins easier that are working in the background and are handling the servers. That's why we are introducing the server overview page for a better management. So with this overview page, the server admins, they are able to see all the workflows that are published to a server. And then for each workflow, they can see the open sessions that are running right now. They can see when the session has been started, how long it's already been running, the computation status. And they're also able to remote close sessions, which can be practical in some cases. Also, they're able to remote delete workflows from the server. This page is password protected, so the admin needs to log in to do these things. Also on the left, you see that there are new versions announced. So if your server is outdated and there's a newer version, you will be told about this here. and then you can download the installer for the newest release and make sure that the server is always up to date. So with all of these features, it will get a lot easier for the server admins to manage Synera Run and keep everything lean and up to date on the servers. All right. Then the next big topic, I already said, it's customization. And we have some features for that in this release. One is exposing viewer settings. And with that, the Synera Run creators are able to say which of the node controls the consumers should be able to see in the front end. So they say this node should be visual, but also this is what the consumer is able to select, in this example, which results of an FE simulation they want to look at. And then also the grouping of inputs and outputs. So yeah, sometimes it makes sense to make a contextual group for some inputs or outputs. And the creator is able to define these groups, and then the consumer sees them grouped in the front end, which gives a good structure and makes it easier to use Synera Run. But yeah, let's have a look and see this in action, how it's actually used. Just like before, you can define what nodes should be visualized in the Synera Run viewer. And now you can click on the little wheel and you can select which of the node controls should be exposed in the Synera Run front end. And then also, if you look to the left, you might notice some changes to the sidebar. So now the workflow properties, inputs and outputs are separated, which gives a better overview and structure. And here you can now define groups for inputs and outputs. And then via drag and drop, you can decide which inputs should belong to which group, which order makes sense. And you can have multiple groups, but also individual inputs. You can order them, do whatever makes most sense for your workflow and your consumers. So then if you finish up your workflow and it's ready to publish, you, of course, need to save your changes before doing that. And then you have it available on the server. And here you can see the groups in the front end, what they look like. You can, of course, adjust your inputs, and then the consumer can collapse them so they're out of the way when they define other inputs and they want to have their focus somewhere else. And then also you see the viewer settings in action here. So in this case, yeah, the consumer is able to decide what FE results they want to look at, which gives them more power to interact with the viewer. Right, so this gives, yeah, more powers also to the creators. They can customize the workflow and the front end of Synera Run for the needs of their consumer. And with that, I want to tell you that all of these cool things are also now available on mobile. And of course, I can show you some nice slides and tell you about it, but I think it's much better if you experience it yourself. It will give you a much better impression. So I hope you have a phone nearby and can scan this QR code. There's a fun little surprise workflow for you there in the spirit of spring coming. I hope you enjoy it. But yeah, in a more practical sense, using Synera Run on mobile is really valuable for utility workflows. So if consumers can quickly check, calculate, or estimate something on the go, they don't have to always go back to their work computer and can use Run on their mobile phone now. And yeah, just in case you didn't have your phone next to your desk right now, here's also some slides to show you what it looks like. Very similar to Synera on your desktop browser, just split up into the tabs, inputs, viewer, and outputs, so that it's easy to see and use on a small vertical screen. All right, with that, I hope you're very intrigued to start using Synera Run now, or you already started, but maybe need some extra help. And for that, we have a course on our academy that teaches you first how to identify which workflows make sense to use in Synera Run, which, where they add extra value, then also how to prepare and publish them, especially in a way that non-Synera users that have no experience with the software have an easy time to use and understand what they need to do. It's roughly half an hour, and it will definitely give you a kickstart into being productive with Synera Run. Okay, and with that, I would like to sum up the highlights of the Synera Run update in Judicious Juracan. We have the server overview page for better management. Then there's grouping of inputs and outputs and exposed viewer setting for customizing your runs. There's one on mobile so that you can use it on the go. Then we have some general improvements for a better experience, like handling publishing errors and viewer improvements. And then there's the new Academy course about Synera Run for a kickstart into your Synera Run experience. And with that, I would like to hand it over to Andrew for some more exciting updates.
Thanks, Sophie. So as Daniel said, it was really hard for us to figure out which kind of capabilities that we wanted to highlight in this webinar. And so for my team, we chose to focus on Subdivision Modelling. So we know a lot of folks out there are using Synera to do workflows for topology optimization reconstruction. So connecting to our integrations with Altair OptiStruct or Hexagon Amendates, and then trying to get out geometry in the end. And we know sometimes that can be a bit of a challenging process. So we've decided to introduce 3 new nodes into the software with this release. One is for constructing subdivision models. This allows you to actually set the edge hardness. So when you want to preserve certain entities within your model, you're going to be able to do that now with this edge hardness. And of course, you can set that on an edge by edge basis. And of course, the other most common one, we want to then convert that Subdivision model into a normal CAD body that will send back maybe to Siemens NX, CATIA, Creo, all of these sorts of CAD tools that we're familiar with using directly from Synera then. So let's take a quick look at how this works. And so one of the nice things now with this integration is with subdivision modeling, we can actually handle open meshes. So we see here a simple geometry that we've created. Now, typically, if we wanted to go ahead and convert this into a CAD geometry, it would fail. We didn't support this operation with open meshes. And now what we can do, thanks to subdivision models, we can convert this quad mesh into a sub-D model. And in this case, we've decided to preserve some of the edges in our model. So we can see that back edge there remains quite prismatic in this case, sharp. And as we make this conversion back into a BREP geometry, we're able to do that now as a surface-based model rather than simply a solid model like we could before. So this is also really great if we look at more complex geometries. In this case, we have a little bracket here. We've taken this optimization result into a mesh form. Now we can see already some surfaces that we are going to want to remain prismatic. Same steps as before, we can convert this into a quad mesh. And then we'll go ahead and again define the edges that we want to remain kind of within our model as we convert this into a sub-D model, and other regions that will retain that a bit more organic shape. So we can see those highlighted in orange here. And again, now when we go ahead and convert that into a body, we'll see that those surfaces are preserved and actually a number of faces merge together to give us those prismatic surfaces we may need to apply boundary conditions to in our FEA analysis. The other important thing to notice, this is a very fast operation compared to converting a quad mesh into a body, so much more efficient for our users. So in summary, what does subdivision modeling add to our users who are doing topology optimization reconstruction workflows? Well, one, it allows you to preserve some of those features that you want as you convert your model through this process. Two, it's a much faster conversion process into bodies. We have this improved robustness, improved capabilities where we can now work with open surfaces, open meshes. Previously wasn't possible. And of course, now we introduce this new interoperability aspect. So we're not looking to replace Rhino, Grasshopper, Alias, these sorts of sub-D modeling tools. We're now allowing you to easily export geometries into them or your traditional CAD tools, either or, to work with them as you see fit. So at this point, I'll hand it over to Daniel, who's got some other exciting updates to share with us.
Thanks, Andrew. Really exciting to see what you guys developed on the sub-D end. Now let's come to the third highlight of today. We have a massive update for our beloved Python integration. As we have a lot of customers who are already using our new Python script node that we introduced roughly a year ago. And a lot of people use their beloved IDE and use the file path container to connect it to the script node to really work on larger Python files, especially when you have already your Python scripts available. But what we also see as another use case is that we have more and more customers that use a script more on the fly inside of an workflow without having an extra IDE opened. And they normally use it with a panel. And the panel is nice for demo purpose, but it's not really great to work with it. And so we are super thrilled that we enhanced the script node even further and introduced its own, let's call it Python Synera IDE, which is an extra dialog. And this new Python script IDE can be accessed via this new button, which is attached to the script node. And now you get all the, let's call it convenient functions you're normally aware of in an IDE, like intention, completion, error handling inside on the canvas without having the need of an extra tool. And this is especially interesting if you have smaller scripts or you just need some, need to fill some gaps where you can use this new functionality. And yeah, we are super thrilled. We gave our early adopters from ARC a sneak preview of this new release. And yeah, we're super glad that Felix already made a deep dive on this new functionality. And today we have him on stage and he will explain and show a little bit what he's already doing with these new capabilities. Felix, the stage is yours.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm Felix. I'm a mechanical design engineer at ARC Engineering, and today I want to show you the new Python editor in Synera. To show you this new feature, we created an exemplary use case. In this use case, we run a design exploration and do some data analysis on the results. One part of this analysis could be the calculation of the correlation coefficients of the single input parameters. Therefore, we would like to execute an external Python script, which we already prepared. To open this Python script in our new Python editor, we just click Edit Script of the new Python feature. As you can see, the Python editor opens and we can have a look into our code. To make the code writing and reading easier in Synera, some basic assistant functions are already included. That means, for example, we have this keyword coloring. We have also the marking of variables, and we have also an auto-completion function. So that means when we add another line, let's say print, and let's type the letter C, we get an overview of all the defined variables which start with the letter C. In this case, we want to choose the first one, and I just click Enter, and the auto-completion is done. Of course, we can also run this code here in this editor by clicking the Run button. And as you can see, in the window below, we get the output of our script. Of course, we can also get error messages. So let's do a small modification, click Run again, and then we get the Python error message. However, let's delete the last line, close the window, say Save. And now we can connect the output of our Python feature to our output box. And now we can see this output of our script here in this panel. Yeah, as I have shown, the new Python feature got some very fancy improvements. I hope you enjoy the updates as well as we do. I wish you a lot of fun with it and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye, Felix. Thank you so much. It's always great to see what our early adopters are doing with these new features. And also cool to see how easy it is to now integrate even more Python scripts into your beloved workflows in Synera. So we see a new Python script 2.0 with code highlights, with line numbers, automatic intention, and much more features to do debugging and fixing your bugs inside of your scripts. Okay, we're coming to the next section, and we have a ton of more improvements. And for that, I'm handing over back to Andrew.
Thanks, Daniel. So as I said before, it was really hard for us to pick, or for me to pick, which things we wanted to highlight that my teams or the teams have worked on for this release. So a lot of improvements have happened. So I know we've worked a lot on a new auto recovery feature to really allow you to never lose your work. So it happens now as workflows get bigger and bigger. Occasionally crashes occur. Of course, as product managers, we hate when that happens. But now we have the ability for you to actually recover these workflows, which is great. So no longer maybe losing a bit of work there. You can now very easily, as you start a new session, recover back any workflows that you've worked on previously. I know a lot of folks are looking forward to that, especially those of you working with these ever-growing workflows out there. Next up, we have all of the new nodes that we've added. So I think this release, we have something like 10 to 15 new nodes that we'll cover here. A few of them coming, again, from all of our great customers with different requests. So we've added a new fillet surfaces operation in addition to our previous fillet operation. This one working with surfaces, similar to maybe what you're familiar with inside Siemens NX, to allow you to have a bit more control there in terms of the types of outcomes that you get. We've added an import geometry as mesh node, allowing you to very quickly import CAD geometry and a mesh representation, maybe allowing you to filter out certain geometries that aren't needed, that are lower detail or smaller size, before you actually go ahead and import that larger CAD file. And a lot of little helper nodes. So we added nodes for mesh properties, generating a cone mesh, a cylinder mesh, really things to just ease your life as you start to work inside Synera and do some of these operations. So next up, we have a lot of FEA-oriented nodes. So we've added strain responses, equivalent plastic strain, the ability to construct node and element sets. A lot of these things are maybe setting the foundation for the future of where we're going to be going with our FEA capabilities. So stay tuned in some upcoming release webinars for that. We've also added more operations for working with some existing meshes you may have inside your model, thickening up meshes. So actually doing offsetting of shell meshes to generate solid meshes, sweeping those meshes, and of course, adding some rotational forces in there. At this point, I'll hand it over to Daniel to talk about a few more of the improvements that we've added.
Thanks, Andrew. Yes, we have 2 more new nodes, and these are in the category of dictionaries. And as you guys know me, I'm a big fan of these dictionaries, as you can use them to also organize and structure very large projects. And I'm happy to announce today 2 new nodes in this family. One is the set directory value, where it helps you to replace, add, or insert new keys in an existing dictionary. And the remove dictionary value. Maybe you would love to remove certain entries in your dictionary. This is the way to go. And to have a more deep dive into the first one, I prepared a quick demo. So let's assume you have this new node on your canvas. You have an existing dictionary. Here it could be a material database. It has some name, an ID, and the density of the material. And maybe you got from a coworker additional information like the price per material. So now you can say, okay, my database or my data structure gets a new entry. It's a price with all the new fields for the new materials or for the materials you previously defined in your dictionary. And with this new node, you can attach this information directly into your dictionary. And again, you can also use it for merge it, replace it, and add further topics. Another improvement is our select node. So we got the request from customer that it's a lot of tedious work if you have large databases and you want to make them accessible with the select node. And as you know, we do not want to repeat ourselves. We introduced a bulk import via CSV now to this select node. That means whenever you would love to have multiple options set it up, you can now use a CSV file to populate these kind of list with the key value pair, which then can be used in the select node. Next is we are introducing the new open source format for reading finite element analysis results, VTK. This is also an enabler for a lot of our partners. So yeah, with this new functionality, you're also able to import this via the FEA model node. And then another update to our model view. So we have now the possibility also to show the material orientation. And this is maybe a short teaser where we are going through, because this is also a foundation for fiber reinforced materials. So let's see what will come in the future. Next is Sophie already showed in the groups section for Synera Run that you have, with the new sidebar, you can now introduce groups and put your inputs into these groups and outputs. You can use the same technology, not only for Synera Run, but also for your custom nodes. So you can use this new sidebar, you can save it here, for example, the force vector and the amplitude. And now you see in the custom node on the parent workflow, you have a nicely collapsed expander. And then you can expand this expander and can make it more user-friendly for your consumers. Next is we introduced a massive update last release regarding the libraries. We did some small tweaks here and there. And one of them is that whenever you have a workflow in your library, which has already defined inputs and outputs, you can now select if it should be insert as a node or as a template afterwards. So feel free to check this out in this dialog where you can organize and orchestrate your libraries. And I don't know why we haven't had this feature, because for me it's really important. You can think about like an isolated view for the canvas. So we call it show only this node. So whenever you have a lot of preview enabled and you just wanted to present or show just this node and just this preview, then you can use the context menu and say show this node only, or you use Control-Shift-Q as a shortcut. And I already trained my muscle memory, and this is, I would say, one of my second most used function. So I'm really thrilled to get your feedback on this new utility function. Yeah, so this was the giant firework of new features in our new version 2403. We saw a massive update in Synera Run from Sophie, especially with the overview page for the server admins, but also with the grouping functionality, with the viewer settings, and all the other additional improvements and features. We saw Andrew with all the subdivision modeling, and we know that we have a lot of clients and customers dealing in the space of topo reconstruction. And I think we have now a lot of more functions to integrate into these workflows. So yeah, stay tuned. And we saw the Python update 2.0, and also thanks again to Felix for showing this into a live demo. And we have massive improvements here and there with new nodes, but also with node improvements. And the big question is, when can you work with this new functionality? So we are super thrilled and proud that we made it again. So Synera 2403 Judicious Juracan is available today. So directly after this webinar, go onto the portal.synera.io, click on the download button, and make sure you get the latest version to also explore and really work on all these new functions. Then we have another program we would love to launch. We call it the early access release. So we have so many early adopters under our customer base. They're asking for so many new features, and we thought about it, and we will introduce a new program. It's called the early access release. It's like an in-between release. It's you can think about like an early beta version. It's not for production purposes. It's more for when you can't wait to test out new functionalities. And this is also now available on a monthly basis in our portal. So when you go under downloads, you see the early access tab, and you can even sneak in a little bit into the future of our next big customer release presentation. This was the update from the Synera core system. But as you know, we have a massive growing community of developers building awesome marketplace add-ins we have never thought before. And for this, I'm more than thrilled to hand back to Andrew, who gives us an update about the recent releases here.
Thanks, Daniel. So with this in-between time now, the past 3 months, we've had 5 add-ins released on the marketplace. We have a EOS print connector allowing you to directly set up build jobs for EOS machines, whether you're working on the polymer side or the metal side, assign your process parameters and export those directly to the machine. We've had Raffles come out with an Office connector just last week, allowing you to automate the creation of PowerPoint files, Word files, to really streamline your reporting process. StoneDev has come out with an SSH SFTP connector, allowing you to connect to remote machines, send jobs to servers or clusters if you're working in a FEA type environment where you need to run a big job on a cluster. Well, this is the right connector for you. We've added also, right after the last release, the functional mockup interface module. This is really great for those of you working in AI and machine learning. You're going to be able to import your ROM models from tools like Siemens ROM Builder. You're going to work with Altair ROM AI and other tools that generate these, like your multi-body simulation tools, Atoms, SimPac, and others. Now those models can be run directly inside Synera. So I think that's going to be a great opportunity for many folks as they look to push the boundaries, like most of us, into the field of AI and machine learning. And I would be remiss if I don't mention Arc Engineering, who just before this webinar has set out to release 3 add-ins on the marketplace. Unfortunately, I didn't have time, Florian, to add the images here, but some great things coming for the field of optimization with custom optimization routines, thanks to Arc. And now I want to focus just briefly on the additive design toolkit from our partner, Fraunhofer IAPT. For those of you that don't know Fraunhofer IAPT, they are the leading research institute, I would say, in Germany, Europe, maybe the world, in additive manufacturing. And so they've taken the time to take some of their knowledge about how they use Synera for additive manufacturing and package it into their own add-in. So you can see here a few of the capabilities that they've added for detection of support zones on parts, looking at things like feature thickness to identify regions that may become bottlenecks or thermal funnels, ability to analyze the feature distance between different components, and of course, mesh angle relative to a certain angle. All of these really oriented to enhancing our existing capabilities in the field of additive manufacturing or design for additive manufacturing, and allowing you to get to production oriented workflows directly inside Synera. So using this in combination with our new integration with EOS Print, maybe tying it in with Hexagon and Mendate to generate additive design or cognitive design systems, cognitive design, or implicit post-processing, all of these tools working together to help you come up with the most optimum designs for additive manufacturing. And with that, I'll hand it back over to Daniel.
Thanks, Andrew. It's so cool to see what also our developers have just built in the last couple of months. It's really awesome. And yeah, I really also wanted to say thank you to all Synera developers, as I know how hard work it is to always deliver so many new capabilities and features just within a time frame of 3 months. So thank you so much to all the developers and who is also in this context of the product development engaged with Synera. We hope you enjoyed the show with Synera 2403 Judicious Juracan. So I think I'm now able to at least pronounce it a bit. We have massive updates. We can't wait to see your hands on and see what you guys will do with it. I'm always impressed to see what kind of workflows and ideas you came up with. So yeah, we're really looking forward to see what you guys will build with these new set of functions. We received some questions. We don't have planned any questionnaire block here for the webinar, but your question will all be covered and we will come back to you after the presentation by one-on-one sessions. I just say thank you so much. As you guys know me, this is by far the most enjoyable events ever I can or I'm allowed to moderate, because this is about technology and the forefront of technology. I hope you enjoyed the show as much as I did. Thank you so much to Sophie and also Andrew for being part today and giving us some insights about these new developments. And yeah, thanks also to all of the customers and visitors today. Thank you so much and see you soon. All the best.